What's going on, family? Samuel Genus here, and I'm the founder of Funnel Goal, where we help small business owners like yourself create profitable and predictable funnels. Now, we're not interested in just building a funnel because that's fairly easy. We're interested in building funnels that actually get leads and sales. And that's what most business owners want, and that's what most business owners struggle with. So let's begin. This is a multi-session presentation that we're doing. And the title of the entire presentation is the 5-step funnel creation process. We're sharing battle-tested process for creating a winning sales funnel. Okay, and so let's begin. In this session, we're going to be talking about troubleshooting your funnel, the ongoing process of optimizing so you can eventually scale your funnel. All right, we're going to talk about the ongoing process of optimizing so that you can eventually scale your funnel. All right, so remember we talked about the 5-step funnel creation process in session 2, and that process is simple. We have phase 1 is the planning stage, and we discuss your target audience review, your product market fit, your offer pricing, expense projections, traffic projections, and revenue projections, right? And then we go into the build phase where you create your quality copy, you create quality images, you set up your integrations, and you build the entire funnel, including all automations and all the Facebook ads, everything. Then we launch, and then we go into the review phase where we review your analytics. This is why data metrics is so important. We don't recommend launching any funnel without data analytics, okay? Because you need to be able to review your customer journeys. Well, if you're not capturing the customer journeys, then you won't be able to review it. You need to be able to review your conversion rates. If you're not capturing your conversion rates and you don't know how to read the conversion rates, don't know where they're located, don't know how to interpret them, then you won't be able to answer critical questions that are necessary for the optimization phase. You need to be able to locate what step of the funnel is failing, right? And you need to be able to locate reason for failure, okay? And actually step 4 is actually the troubleshooting phase, right? Because after you launch, now you're getting into troubleshooting. You're going to see what's going on. And then once you locate those reasons, you're going to move into the optimization where you're going to now determine what you need to optimize. What should I change? What actually needs to change? Do I change the headline? Do I change my images? Do I change, my ad? Do I change the headline on my opt-in page? Do I change my offer? Do I change my price? Do I change my email subject line? Like, what do I have to change? Then you make those optimization changes, and then you basically repeat and you relaunch those new changes, and now you wait a couple of days to test, right? To look at your analytics again. So remember, the day 1 is that planning phase, right? That typically takes 1 day. You can sit with us. We'll walk you through it. We'll actually help you do phase 1. It typically takes anywhere between 60 minutes to an hour and a half. Sometimes we can get done earlier, but I say 60 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then you have the build phase that can take anywhere from 5 to 60 days. Typically, if you got all your ducks in a row, you can write all your copy and your images and get all your images within 7 days, 10 days, 14 days tops. Funnel Goal can actually build your funnel in 7 days or less. So typically, you actually can get a funnel done, an entire funnel completed within the first 30 days of signing up, all right? If it takes longer, that's because it took you longer, okay? Not us. It took you longer to get everything, to get your copy and images. And that's all you have to concern yourself with is your copy and your images, okay? Then we launch. That's typically just a couple of minutes, just hitting the launch button, making sure everything's up and running. But the review phase takes place, after we get the first 300 to 500 visitors, and then we do our review, we optimize, and then we review and optimize every 7 or 14 days. And so that's why you have to be committed to 3 to 9 months commitment, and we're going to explain why it's a 3 to 9 month commitment. And typically you got to have an initial ad spend of $150 or more. We recommend $600, but for those of you who don't have it, we understand. We want to help you get started. We want to help you get moving up and running. And so we don't take clients who are spending less than $150 on ads, okay? And you need to be able to do this every single month, right? So this is what I wanted to get to. Typically people are okay. People are okay with, they're okay with getting up to this section. They launch, right? The part they struggle with is this part, reviewing the analytics, finding out what's working, what's not working, optimizing, right? And typically this is when they quit. And so I want to help help fortify your mind and help you be prepared to be able to deal with this. So let's get into it. Typically, most people, when after they launch and they run ads, they're all excited. They got the funnel up and running. They're willing to spend $150, $200, $300 on ads. Some people are willing even to spend $600 or $1,000, right? But then they say, I see no results. And I'm here to let you know that's a myth. The only way you're not going to see results is if you don't launch. I see no results is a myth, right? You will always get results from your funnel. The question is do you know where to locate those results? Can you read those results? Do you understand those results? And do you understand the reason for those results? Do you know why, right? And can you determine what to do based on those results? That's the key. This is how you fix your funnel. This is how you perfect your funnel. If you don't know what's going wrong, then you don't know what to change. And so what a lot of people do is they'll say, I see no results, I see no sales, I see no leads, I'm going to quit. And so if you quit, you just shot your funnel in the head and you destroyed whatever corrections or progress that's possible. Okay? So when you quit, you're simply just abandoning the funnel, right? You're abandoning the whole, process. Okay. Now, so let's get to it. This is how you troubleshoot a funnel. This is just by no means is this exhaustive, but it's definitely a start in the right direction. We're going to be, optimizing this even as we continue to do these free courses. But the reason why I wanted to show you this is because this is what the process looks like, troubleshooting your funnel. And if I zoom in just a little bit and I show you, this is troubleshooting your funnel, right? And notice how quitting is not an option. Y'all see that? Quitting is not an option. It's not on a diagram. Nowhere on this funnel, on this Visio diagram, is quitting. Hope that makes sense to you all right? Now check this out. So this is how you troubleshoot your funnel. It typically takes up to 3 to 9 months to read the data metrics and make necessary adjustments to achieve a funnel with appropriate metrics to scale. That's what we're attempting to do. That's what the optimization phase is for, is to correct whatever mistakes, tweak whatever needs to be tweaked so that we can get the right data metrics. And once you get the right data metrics, once you achieve the proper conversion rates, now you can scale. Now you can go from $300 in ads to $900 in ads. Now you can go from 900 to 2,000, from 2,000 to 5,000, because your metrics are aligned. Your metrics are good. So now we can scale. We don't want to scale a funnel whose metrics have not been achieved. Okay. And that's the reason why it takes 3 to 9 months. So for those of you who are looking to see banging results after 30 days, hey, those results might be there, but they might not. And if you quit and just be like a crybaby and complain and be ready to just, throw the toys away and pack up and go home, then you're basically just abandoning the entire process. You basically just forfeited whatever progress you can make. All right. So this is the process. You have to get into the habit of asking questions, not quitting, asking questions, not canceling your subscription, asking questions. This is the reason why we only want to work with people who are going to be committed. Just because you got $300 lying around and you can afford the first 2 payments that we charge you, that doesn't mean you're an ideal customer, because you may not be mentally fit. You may not be willing to go the whole distance, right? And we only want to work with people who's willing to go the whole distance, because the only way you're going to win is if you go the whole distance, right? And a lot of you, because you're a small business owner and you're just getting started, you don't fully understand what you do. You don't know what you don't know. And so you think you're making the right decision by quitting. You think you're saving money. You're like, oh, no, I don't want to spend that extra $100 and something because I need to save that, even though you're going to waste it anyway on something, right? You're going to waste that money on something: food, entertainment, vacation, clothes, some rainy day event. You're going to spend it anyway, right? But the whole point is you forfeited any progress you're going to make. Okay. And then what's going to happen is a couple of weeks will go by and you're going to start all over again. And now you're going to have to start from scratch. And that's so you basically are waste. You're just constantly restarting versus optimizing. You're like tearing down what you had and building all over versus perfecting what you already have and adding to that. All right. So success belongs to the people who are willing to ask questions and solve the problem correctly. All right. So this is where it starts. We're going to start right here at the top. Right. It says, do you have ads running? Right. And for those of you who's working with us, we're not going to launch unless you have an ad. If you don't have an ad, it don't even make sense to launch. So if you don't have an ad, create an ad to drive traffic to your funnel, right? So now when you circle back around, do you have ads? Yes. What campaign objective are you running, right? Are you running video views, traffic, or conversion, right? And you need to know why you're running video views, traffic, or conversion or engagement, why you're running those particular objectives, right? Now, if you're running video views, you're most likely probably doing it to just raise awareness, to build up your custom audience, and eventually build up a lookalike audience that you can then use for traffic or for conversions, for your conversion events, right? So sometimes typically when people are doing video views objective, they're simply just doing it to build an audience. They're not necessarily doing it to sell the item yet. They're just doing it to build the audience, warm up the pixel, and build the audience to use as a lookalike audience for conversions or for another objective. So if it's video views, right, look at the first question we asked. Did you build lookalike based on video views, viewers' custom audience, right? If the answer is no, then create a custom audience from people who watch the video, and then create a lookalike audience based on the custom audience made in the previous step, right? And now you can ask the question, did you reach over 10,000 people, right? Did that video get shown to 10,000 people, right? Okay, if the answer is yes, okay, is the scroll stop greater or equal to 20%, right? If you didn't, well, let's say if you didn't, let's say you didn't reach over 10,000 people yet. Well, then no big deal. You just wait and let your ads keep on running until it reaches over 10,000. And then it circles back around. By the time it circles back around, the answer is going to be yes. Now you can go, okay, now that 10,000 people have seen my video, now I can start asking some questions because now my sample size is a certain size. Okay? Does that make sense? So now because of that, we can say, okay, did 20% of them reach the scroll stop? In other words, they slowed down scrolling and they stopped to see the first 3 seconds. Was that greater than 20%? If the answer is no, stop the ad and create a new video, change the video thumbnail or intro and start over, right? And let that video ad run again. Make sense? You let it run again. And so same concept. And if they did, if you got more than 20%, and we can explain what these are more and more in detail, when we start working together. If the scroll stop is greater than 20%, okay, now we want to know what percentage, did you get at least 15% of the viewers? Did they watch 50% of the video? Did 15% of the viewers watch 50% or more of the video itself? If the answer is no, then the initial message isn't engaging. Review video and audience, then tweak and start over. Yeah, see the process that we're going through? We're not quitting, we're asking questions, right? Because what's going to happen is some of you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to create this video. And you just took out your phone and you started talking, right? Did you really think about what you're saying? Did you really think about who you're talking to? Did you really make sure that you put the effort in to make sure that it was engaging, to make sure that it was correct, to make sure that it was great, to make sure that you put your best foot forward? You know what I mean? Because if you didn't, it's going to show. So if you put in mediocre work in the beginning, your metrics is going to be lower. Y'all get that? If you put in mediocre work in the beginning, right, your metrics is going to be lower. That's why you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to fire this person and get rid of that person and cancel my subscription, because it's the wrong decision. You would be making the wrong decision because you don't fully know what the problem actually was. In order to know what the real problem is, you have to investigate. And what a lot of people are doing is they're canceling the software, they're abandoning the funnel, thinking that that's the right decision. But how does that fix the problem? How does canceling the software you need going to solve the problem of your funnel, right? It doesn't solve the funnel. If anything, it destroys the progress. It doesn't fix anything. It just destroys the progress. And now you got a little bit of extra money in your pocket because you didn't spend it. But you're going to waste that anyway. I just want to make sure you understand the mindset that people sometimes have. So the key is you want to ask questions, not just make decisions, right? Because as you ask, and then you got to make sure you ask the right questions. And so the purpose of this document is to at least help you start asking the right questions, right? Because when you see this, you're going to be like, wait a second, my message isn't engaging enough. Right? Now think about that for a second. Some people was about to abandon their coach or abandon their funnel or abandon their software when in reality, they should be abandoning their message and creating a new message. Right? But you won't know that until you start to investigate and ask the right questions. Okay? Now let's say 15% of your viewers actually watch 50% or more of the video. If they did, now they come down to this section. And now another question is asked, did 10% of your audience, right, watch 75% or more of the video? All right? Did 10% or more of your audience watch at least 75% of the video? So let's say you have a 1-minute video. Did they watch at least 45 seconds of it? Let's say you have a 30-minute video, right? Did they watch 75% of that? If the answer is no, this may still be okay. That's the reason why we don't have it as a red, right? It's kind of like an orange, I was trying to find a color between red and green, but I don't even know if orange is the right one, but for now it'll do. This may be okay depending on the purpose and length of your video, as well as how your CTA is structured in the video. You see what I'm saying? And if it's yes, okay, we can go to, is cost per reach affordable, right? So notice how we're trying to ask the right questions. And because we're asking the right questions, we can then make decisions. And decisions, basically, notice how they are optimization decisions or wait decisions. Let me wait a little bit longer. Let me optimize and then start that piece over. You see what I'm saying? Now we get all the way down to, is cost per reach affordable? In other words, what is it costing me for one person or for 1,000 people to see this video? Can I afford that? Is that sustainable? If the answer is no, then broaden your ad set audience within your Facebook and to lower the frequency and wait until 2,000 additional impressions, and then now check the results of those new changes you made. By broadening your audience, let's see if your cost per reach went down a little bit, right? And if it did, great news, you now have a winning campaign ad of a video view. And not only do you have a winning campaign ad, but remember, you now have all this new audiences. See what it says? Create custom audience and create lookalike audience, right? And so now you have on the top of your funnel, you have all this people who watch and engage, and you can now feed that audience, custom audience and lookalike audience, to your traffic campaign or to a conversion campaign. Okay? Now, the same concept is true. It's just that you're going to ask different questions and stuff like that. For your traffic and conversions, you're going to ask, different types of questions. So, for example, let's say this was a traffic, right? Did you reach over 10,000 people? No, then let your ad run until you reach at least 10,000 people. And it could be lower. It could be 3,000 or 5,000, but we put 10,000 for now. If it's yes, okay, is your landing page click-through rate over 1.5? In other words, out of 1,000 people reached, did 1.5% or higher, did they click on your ad and make it to your landing page? If the answer is no, then optimize your ad or your offer and start over, right? And create a new ad. Pause that ad, stop that ad, and then create a new ad. Notice how it's not quit. It's just, no, create a different message, create a different ad. If the answer is yes, now we're going to ask a different question. Is this an opt-in page or a sales page? Well, if it's an opt-in page, okay, great. Are you getting leads? If you are, congrats. If you're not, optimize your opt-in page offer and start over. If it's a sales page, okay, are you getting sales? If you're getting sales, great, congrats. If not, optimize sales page, and start over. The whole point we're trying to make within this whole diagram is to show you the importance of asking questions to discover where the problem is, what the problem is, and why that metric is what it is. And then what can we do to increase the metric or to make it a better metric? Make sense? Now, if we go to the conversions, same concept. Is your ad reaching 10,000 people or more? If not, no, then let it run until it reaches 10,000. If it is, now ask yourself, okay, is the landing page click-through rate over 1.5%? If it's not, optimize your ad and start over. If it is, okay, is this an opt-in page or a sales page? Because you can have a conversion event for an opt-in page, or you can have a conversion event for a sales page, right? So if it's an opt-in page, are you getting leads? No, then optimize the opt-in page and start over. If you are getting leads, notice there's a different question. Is your lead acquisition cost sustainable? In other words, can you continue to afford that? Or is it too much? Because if it's not, if it's too much, then you need to optimize your sales page and start all over, because then that means that you may have to optimize your sales page or optimize your ad to get a better, acquisition cost. If the answer is yes, congrats. Now you're not only are you getting customers, but you're getting the customers at a rate that you can afford and at a rate that is sustainable. That means you should be able to scale, right? So what if it's a sales page? Same thing. Are you getting sales? No, then optimize your sales page and start over. If it's yes, then is your sales conversion rate over 2.8%? And sometimes we can, depending on what you're selling and stuff, based on your goals, we may have to change that 2.8 to something else. Because for your business, it may be 3.2. For somebody else's business, it may be 2.1, right? For higher ticket customers, maybe the sales conversion rate could be slightly lower because they're making more profit off of every transaction, right? So these percentages on this entire Visio diagram can change depending on your funnel and your goals and your product and your product price, your profit margin, and all that, okay? So is your sales conversion rate over 2.8? If not, optimize the sales page and start over. If it is, now we're going to ask another question. Is your customer acquisition cost less than your AOV profit margin, all right? Because some people, they're making a sale, but they're not making a good enough profit. And so you got to remember, let's say you're selling a product for $50 and your cost of goods sold is $25. That means your profit margin is 50%. You're only making a 50% profit or gross margin on the product. But then at the same time, that means you can only afford to spend $25 to acquire a customer. Well, if it costs you $28 to get a customer, right? Is your customer acquisition cost less than your AOV profit margin? If it's not, then you need to optimize and start over. If it is, then congrats. You want your acquisition cost to be less than, I would say at least 20% less than your profit margin on your average order value or your product price, right? Because you want to get paid to get a customer. You don't just want to break even. Right? Now, I'm going to say that with a grain of salt because there's some variables to that. It's not an absolute statement, okay? If you have other items to sell them, if you think you can sell them a second product later on in the journey, like in the funnel, maybe within the next 30 days, you can sell them another product. So now they become a repeat customer, or maybe you're selling a high ticket offer. Then you can potentially get away with breaking even or losing a little bit money just to get a customer. So let's say you lost $5 to get a customer, but now you're about to sell them something in 2 weeks for $100, and the profit margin on that is 80%. So you'll get your money back, and you'll be able to grow and scale because you're making a decent profit. It's just that you didn't make your profit on the initial sales transaction. You're going to make it in the future, in the near future. This is also maybe you may also be able to break even or just go into the negative if you have a subscription product, because you can get that money back next month when they make their second payment, third payment, fourth payment, fifth payment, so on and so forth. So you don't necessarily need to make a profit in month one or period one, and you could possibly lose some money in month one because you're going to get it back in month two. Right? So those are the things you can do to to question why It's just really just asking the right questions. That's the key. It's asking the questions and being around people who can help you answer the questions, right? And so that's the purpose of this particular video. It's just to kind of like, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be an expert in Facebook. You don't have to be an expert in Google Analytics. You don't have to be an expert in any of these things. You just have to be prepared to ask the question. Don't just say, I quit. Don't just say, I give up. Ask questions. Success belongs to those who ask questions, right? And seek solutions, not to those who quit. So it's going to be very, very important that you ask the right questions as it relates to your funnel, your metrics, right? When you don't see sales or you don't see leads, start asking questions. Don't just start firing your consultants and getting rid of your software and canceling your subscriptions and getting rid of your mentor and getting rid of your coach and getting rid of your, trainers and all that kind of stuff, right? You want to first ask the right questions, because you might end up getting rid of the wrong person, getting rid of the wrong software, right? You might be getting rid of the very bridge that you need to cross over to where you need to be, all right? So that wraps this up. This is just to help you get your mind in the right place to be like, okay, I know what I'm up against now, and this is how I need to think. This is how I need to think about these challenges that I'm going to face after I launch my funnel. Make sense? Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now we're at the end of our session. Get your mind in the right place, right? Jump in with both feet and with both eyes wide open. Don't be afraid of looking at your data analytics. Always look at your numbers. Don't even make a decision without looking at your numbers. I'm going to say that again. Don't make a decision without looking at your numbers. And don't make a decision without asking questions and making sure that you get the right answers to those questions, satisfactory answers to those questions. And then you can start talking about what decisions can we make to improve those metrics in the event that our metrics is not good enough, okay? And once those metrics are achieved, now you can scale, right? So we always recommend that you keep your ads spend around 150 all the way up to probably like $7, maybe to $1,000. I wouldn't just be spending more than that, because we don't want to spend more than that until we hit our metrics, all right? And then when we hit our metrics, now we can scale. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 5-step funnel process, funnel creation process, all right? And the optimization process. You have to be able to wrap your head around this. And even if you can't completely wrap your head around this, you can always, right, join us, right, sign up, and we will walk with you through this process, okay? So my name is Samuel Genus. We are at the end of this session. My name is Samuel Genus. I am the founder of Funnel Goal, and I look forward to working with you and helping you go through the process, getting in the weeds with you, my team working with your team, and helping you create a funnel that makes sales and get leads and get sales, right? So that's pretty much it. I look forward to working with you, look forward to chatting with you, and I will see you in our next presentation. Take care.